It seems there are some more people will come.
Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How about you?
All well so far?
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Miss
evening,
Uma.
ma'am.
So my alarm is ringing now.
It's okay. It's,
Sorry.
I guess now things are, there are lots of people should join. Some people should join because it's just a networking thing,
Yeah.
So, now I am live with some of our close friends. One is Kumudini, another is Uma Balu. Then we have Mr. Vishwanath, and some more should come. Uh, uh, we have another person joining in. I just hope we will have more numbers, but whatever number comes, we will discuss and celebrate. Kiran is there now. We will celebrate our day with, thanks to everybody for joining in. And there are some names, which are not appearing as per the name. I mean, I don't know whose name is this Zoom. Can you please, correct your name? Is it Aparna? Aparna, are you there?
She can't hear you.
It seems, Aparna, perhaps you need to change your name.
Name.
Yeah, but I'm changing it. Okay. Now we have Swati, we have Dipti joining in. I don't know, those people who are not in Delhi area or in hilly areas, they may not be facing problems. But here in Delhi, it's quite winter,
Okay.
It's the announcement of Christmas, sir.
Right. So I just wanted to check if you can hear me.
Yes, sir. Yes, Vimji.
But
We can hear you.
some people say I can't hear. For example, Aparna can't hear.
It's fine.
Kiran can't hear. So please check, because Ramnik is there, Priti has joined. So we are a group of 10 people to start with.
Yes.
More people should join, and I guess there are some people who are watching us on YouTube also. But let me also invite some more people through our variety of other channels, if they can, because the idea is to lose the synergy that is there, and we have been holding on for quite long period of time. So let's make use of it. And Vijay Prakash is joining now. So we have Vijay also joining in. And I will suggest, if you can, all my friends, to please share the link with your friends on YouTube also, so that, or social media channel also. And that way, it will become more easy for others to participate. I am sharing the link. Please use this link, my friends, and share in social media. Aparna, hold on. We will first stabilize ourselves, then we will initiate the talks. Till then, please bear with me. Thank you, Dr. Vishwanath. We have Ramneek. We have Ramneek. Can you hear now the voice? If you have any issues, you can write in the chat box. I'm using quite, high quality sound. So this is the one, that's a very professional thing that, one can record it, on, it's the studio mic. That's, so I guess it is working. And the idea is if we can make it do join there. There are some people whom I have not sent the Zoom link, but I have sent the good evening, Pradeep ji. How are you doing? So now I see there are some good number of friends who have joined on the YouTube channel of Modlingua also. And for all our friends who are watching and who are part of today's webinar, as well as networking meeting on Zoom, if for some reason you get disconnected, or if you wanted to have more, clarity on our chat going on, you can use channel, of Modlingua at YouTube. YouTube's chat function is more dynamic and better, I believe, than on Zoom. Because in YouTube, you can also leverage, visibility with others, But Zoom room where we are currently is private room, and only those participants who are here, they will be able to know to receive messages from each other. So now, before I start, Uma, Kiran, or Kumudini, can I make you, co-host, so that if someone who is waiting, you can help admit, that person.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
And that way we will be able to,
Add
help
more
each other.
people. Yeah.
And now the idea, why we are meeting today. So let me come to you for this purpose. We are here to celebrate our winter, from Delhi, number one. We have had Merry Christmas, and the weekend is long. And I just wanted to update you about some activities, that we have been doing for quite some months, or rather some years. Just to give you information, some of you are already part of our summer internship programs and webinars, etc. But for those who are not part of our activities, I just want to inform them that Modlingua has been actively involved in uniting translators and language professionals of India for more than 20 years now. However, for last 5 years, we have been working very hard in empowering translators, language professionals, especially the newbies, to integrate them with the professional world by giving them at least, basic training related to project management, contract management, how to deal with the client, how to deal with, your own problems in language and translation, and how to find job, how to leverage, how to do social media marketing, how to make use of all these, opportunities that has come up for our professional development. And many of the newbies as well as the old ones have taken advantage of it. And in last 5 years, perhaps we have been able to reach out and train at least 500 plus interns, on a yearly basis. We do it especially during summer time because at that stage of time, we have less workload, number one. And most of the students, are on holidays for a longer period of time. So on average, our internship program varies from 2 to 3 months, but it is a lifelong training program. If you become part of Modlingua, you remain part of Modlingua as long as you wish. And we welcome you always with any problem, solutions, partnership, friendship, or any leadership opportunities that you are looking for. So this way, we are able to help you, number one, and we are able to help ourselves also, because we need to keep floating with some good synergy, energy, as well as human resources. Many of interns later become our translators. Many of interns are being placed through us, and they remain our brand ambassador. And this is how we are working together. So my idea is, if we are having some organizational capacities and you have knowledge, you have access to new human resources, new friends, it's always good to combine strength and come together. So now the other thing that has come up is, in last 5 years we have been doing it, but this COVID time has been a very painful time for everybody, across the globe. And I was interacting with translators of other countries that day, few days back, because I have been very active also internationally. I was a board member to International Federation of Translators that connects approximately 110 associations of the globe. So there I interact with people from across the globe, and I there learn also and share with you all. So my learning experience is telling me that this has been a very painful experience for uh, everybody, in fact, and at the same time it has been a big opportunity for everybody, in the sense that we have got chance to rethink about those activities which we have not been doing it, and also found some space to rethink, de-learn and learn, and at the same time we have also learned to face the challenges and prioritize things, those things which are very important. We should focus on that first. So COVID has taught us, to rethink about, there are lots of things in abundance. Nature has given us, world has given us lots of things, but many times we take things for granted. But COVID has given us opportunity to learn, to prioritize and focus on those parts which are very essential for us. So this way, we are able to create some space for our own self. And when I say creating a space, that means that particular space which should be your personal space. There you think, rethink, learn, fight, pleasure, be with friends, family, make good food, those things. And that thing drives you for a better future. It keeps the momentum of life on. And this is what I have learned. So I thought, let me share my feelings with you all, my learning with you all. And also, it has been a big time after summer internship, which ended in the month of August. From August, September, October, November, December, 4 or 5 months, and less activities online with webinars and all. So now Modlingua is back with 2020, with 2021, with new energy. We have launched our Amazon, book selling on role of translation in nation building. We are in the final stage of new book called Joy of Translating Indian Literature. But certainly, we are also in the process of launching some online courses for translation management, which we have already done. Translation courses, professional development courses, contract management, personality development, stress management, how to face interviews, how to write theses and how to write research papers. All these things are, on its way. It should come to you. And it's good that many of you have joined our newly formed forum called Modlingua Webinars on WhatsApp. Currently, I see around 150 people have joined within 24 hours of its launch, which is a good encouraging thing. We have also launched a language forum, that has around now 11,000 members on Google Groups. So all these things we have been able to do during COVID time, which perhaps we could not be able to do earlier for many reasons, logistics, time, etc. But this opportunity has come and we used it, and we feel very happy about it. So with this, I would like to welcome all my friends here today. Those who are watching us on YouTube channel, they are part of our training program or networking program today. So I will request them also to please be with us and keep participating, keep writing, keep commenting. If you have something to share, please do. And if you need to be part of our discussions, please join our WhatsApp group. You can always connect with us through our WhatsApp number, which is also given in the YouTube channel as well as in the description box. I will repeat it for you. This is India number +91 9953 882481. I repeat, India number +91 9953 882481. So with this, my friend, I open the floor for today's discussion and welcome. First, I would like to welcome our friend, long-time friend, Uma Balu, who is from Chennai region, and she's a Japanese language expert, translator, and runs her own translation company and consultancy. So Uma Balu, could you like to share your experience during COVID period and what you do, what
Yes.
you have not been doing, why, where are you, so that we at least learn from each other and know what is going on in life, of our friends and translators and language professionals. So Uma, please welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Raviji. Actually, a very pleasant evening to everyone. I have lots to share with you because this COVID period, even though it has affected the whole world, as far as language and other related areas, it has been a very, very productive and very interesting period for me, I should say. Over the last 7 months, I have worked more than I have ever done. So that has been very, very interesting. So I would really like to share what all I did, what all I learned and unlearned and explored, experimented. I would really like to do that. See, till now, initially I was doing a lot of self-study on European languages like German, Russian and all that. And around 2000, I started my Asian part because that was the first time when my son joined his karate classes, and it was my first exposure to an Asian language, Japanese. And that is where the Japanese journey started. And after that, I have explored more languages like Korean, Malay, and all that. So it has been going on very interestingly, and I have been getting students also. And I have also devised a methodology like how to train the students because, for example, the Japanese exam happens twice a year, one in July and one in December. So we have 6 months of time. For example, a student who joins in January has time till July or June to take the exam. So these 6 months, if we are able to train them within a very short time, like for example, the first 3 months we are able to finish it off, and the next 3 months we can fully practice for the exam. So that kind of a methodology I was able to devise during the COVID period. And I have also tested that with 3 students. It has been so successful. I'm very happy about it. And that is one thing. And then there is a student who joined who's very interested in learning Korean. So I should not say I'm very good at Korean, but it was a very interesting experience learning together, teaching her whatever I self-study I did, sharing that with her. And now she is also very passionate about it. So we are both working together. I would not say teacher and student, but we are working together. There's been a lovely experience. That is one thing. And one thing I would really like to present here is, recently I've started a project where the major languages of India, 11 languages, major languages of India, I would like to help people communicate in those languages without any formal training. That is without joining any institute, not doing any course, just teach them the basics of communication so that whichever whichever part of India, for example, a person from Tamil Nadu gets posted in a place like Orissa. He has absolutely no idea what is Orissa, what is the culture, what is the food, like language, everything is new. But if we are able to give a very basic pose or something, I wouldn't even call it a pose, a basic idea of the language, how to communicate in the language without he may not have any time for joining a course and getting trained in the language, and that is not his idea at all. He just wants to communicate with the local people. That's it. So I have selected 11 major languages of India, and I would like to invite people who would be interested in working with me. And this is what, for each language, at least one person, we can work as a group and create the material and then publish it as a book. This is one thing I really wanted to share with you, Ravi.
That is great.
I would really like to invite ideas on this. Really, I would be the happiest person in the world if we can bring India together through this.
Right. So that is Uma. I mean, I believe it has been a good, experience for you. And I learned that you have moved even from Japanese to Korean and doing
Yes.
lots of experiments. So, I mean,
Yes.
I believe as a translator, language professional, and with age we learn more rather, and I like your spirit, and I welcome your idea of helping people in Indian languages.
Yes.
That is a very
I have a
encouraging
great
thing.
passion for teaching, so I would really like to connect with more people, Raviji. Really, I want to do this. I'm very serious about it.
That is great. So
And
Uma,
Modlingua is the right platform for me, okay, to find people, like-minded people who would be interested in joining and working together.
I am sure you will find some good numbers, because if you are part of the group, that has been formed
Yes,
recently,
yes.
you will find a diversified group of people from all corners and languages. So maybe we can talk one-to-one on this and make an appeal on a platform,
Yes, yes.
because we have now 11,000 plus members on group, Google group. So I am sure there will be more people who could be interested in joining your activities.
Yes.
So with this, thank you, Uma, and let's come to find out some more people around who wanted to talk and who want to express himself. So I will like to come to welcome Aparna. Are you there? So if Aparna is around, I could be happy to hear from you, Aparna, because Aparna has been a very good French trainer, speaker, and as well as social worker. But if Aparna is still not there because of some or the other reason, do we have any other person who would like to share? I know Kumudini is here, but before Kumudini expresses herself, I would like to request others also to come forward and express yourself. Is anyone around? Do we have some friends like Dr. Rekha Garg is there. We have Nisha. We have Madhumita. We have Kshama. We have Sujit. We have Vishwanath, Dr. Vishwanath, Priti Bhatia. Any one of you, if you are interested, would like to share what you have been doing during this COVID time, we would be happy to hear from you. Aparna, are you there? Aparna, are you there? Is your mic okay now, Aparna? It seems Aparna is Aparna's mic is not working. It seems. Aparna, if your mic is working, can you have to unmute yourself first if you wanted to talk. I am just asking Aparna to come forward. Aparna, you have to unmute yourself and then talk. Yes, Aparna. Okay, it seems Aparna is having some technical glitch. So let's talk to Vijay. Are you there? Vijay Prakash. Okay. Anyway, let's come back to our point again, and we talk to Kumudini. So, Kumudini, आप बताएं. I know you are a Hindi translator, a very good teacher. You teach in a international school in Mumbai region, and you are very passionate about promoting Hindi. And I understand that you have been doing extremely good in training students, and giving more sanskar to them. So could you like to share something?
Thank you so much, sir, and festive greetings to everybody. And I would, first of all, would like to appreciate Miss Uma for the passion she has and the new languages she's learning, and also she's planning to work for other 11 languages. I hope Marathi is there in that.
Definitely, ma'am.
Marathi is there?
Yes.
Okay, so
11 languages are there. All the 4 South Indian languages. Apart from that, it's Marathi, Bengali, Gujarati, and Hindi, Oriya, Bengali, and Assami.
all right. So I don't mind requesting my name for Marathi.
Ma'am, I'll be so happy. I'm so thrilled. Actually, I was about to ask you.
Thank you so
That
much.
will be nice,
And
ma'am. It will be a great learning for me also.
thank you. And I have a very strong teaching background. Rather, that's the only background I have. I'm not. I'm not a regular translator, but Ravi sir has trained me in the internship program, and I have started doing some translation work, which sir very graciously gives me, and that's how I'm planning to get into this translation and other languages formally. Coming back to the COVID time, sir, there was no time to think because online teaching was on, and you cannot imagine the amount of workload increased during this COVID time. And there were so many trainings we underwent. The best part is, sir, that we got to train ourselves in technology. There were so many workshops given by organized by the school, and I think I was one of the privileged one where I was selected for all the training programs. So the blended learning, I think that can be a good help to teach foreign languages also. I mean, other Indian languages or foreign languages. So these were the things, and whatever time I got after doing my teaching and other things, my inclination is more towards art. So I did some artwork. But I request each one of you that this pandemic time was a good learning experience. I think now I am more ready for the challenges of life, whether it's my professional or personal. So I think pandemic, as sir said, has done some good to us. So, sir, this was a very short.
That is great. Thank you, Kumudini. I mean, आपने जो activities किए हैं is very encouraging, because after some age, people start feeling that अब तो मेरा age हो गया क्या करना. But I see that बचपन in you, that is very very encouraging, and we should learn from you, how to evolve and learn, even at higher age group,
At this, and sir, you will be happy to know that
Right.
My contract was getting over in the month of June this year, 21. But
Okay.
the owner of the school called me and he said, "No, your performance is very satisfactory, and we would like you to continue." So he has renewed my contract for another 5 years.
Wow. So congratulations.
Congrats, ma'am.
So you
And
are
there is no age limit. As
right.
long as you can perform, you are in job.
Right. So this is the spirit of learning. So we have Kshama also waiting. So I would request Kshama, if you are around, please join. And first you have to I am asking you to come on camera, number one. So put on your
Uh,
video.
I won't be able to put on the video.
Mhm.
Sorry about that. But is that okay? I can speak.
Right. Sure. No
Yeah.
problem. So
Yeah.
please,
Yeah.
please carry
Okay.
on.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for the opportunity. My name is Kshama Dharwadkar. I work as assistant professor in the Department of French and Francophone Studies, Goa University. So my experience during COVID is like Ma'am Kumudini also said, workload was overwhelming. Definitely, we all had to adapt to the new normal that was teaching online, which is something we had not done. But at the same time, I mean, I would also say that it was very overwhelming for me, but at the same time the period has been extremely productive for me. The reason being, even though this is a time when we are restricted to the four walls of our house or of our workplace, yet I was able to attend a lot of webinars and conferences online, normally for which I would have to travel or get out of my comfort zone. I mean, of course I do look forward to the travel, but I did get a chance to present a couple of papers on translation or on teaching methodology using the latest technological tools. So yes, it has definitely been a productive period, that's what I would say. I've also discovered Modlingua during this period, so it's been very helpful and I'm really happy to be a part of this group.
That is great. Sorry, I have been misspelling your name as
Yeah.
Kasma. Rather, you are
Kshama.
Shama. Yeah.
Yes.
So मुझे क्षमा कीजिएगा इसके लिए.
No problem. No problem.
लेकिन it's good that you are here and French francophone people are major translation and language activities in
Yes.
India.
Yes.
You will be happy to know that we have also a forum on Facebook for French language professionals, and
Yes.
that forum is now having around 15,000 plus members. That's the
I'm a
real.
member of that as well. I'm a
Yeah,
member of that as well.
so that
Yes.
is,
Yes. Yes.
although there are some spammers who disturb us,
Yes.
there,
Yes.
but we try to maintain, decorum there,
Yeah.
and it kills lots of time, So I
Yeah.
would rather request active members to come forward and become moderator and, control those nonsense there, So that is one aspect. And now I was thinking if Priti is also here, so let's hear from Priti. Priti has also been a very dynamic interpreter. Aparna, if your mic is ready, let me know through message so that I know. Uh, you don't see microphone. I mean, I'm sure. Lower your hand. I'm just asking you to unmute yourself. Let me, I'm just trying to, help Aparna. If Aparna, that means you are not connected well with your mic. So the best thing could be to log out and log in again, and do not use headphones. Just use your phone. It will help you. So now we have Priti. Priti, you have to unmute yourself first. You are muted currently. So I'm asking Priti first to unmute herself. Let me.
Is it done? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
it is done now. So Priti, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Ravi. I was very happy to hear about this new group that you have formed. I think it can really help us all of us to get together and see what we can do in this country to improve the situation of languages, because I think it's a pretty pathetic situation as of now for various reasons I don't want to get into at the moment. Regarding what I've been doing during COVID, I've been very busy. I have been busy with a lot of translation work, interpretation, which I've been doing remotely. So getting into remote simultaneous interpretation was one thing. doing really remote simultaneous interpretation was quite another. And working into your third language was even a more difficult experience, but it was a fun experience, good experience, and I intend to try to improve on that, because now I have absolutely a fantastic idea of what remote simultaneous interpretation is, how to do it, how to do relay interpretation while doing remote simultaneous interpretation. And I have not only that, I've also started teaching online, which I wasn't doing earlier. Earlier, I was an assistant professor with Bombay University. I stopped that last year because I wanted to focus on my PhD, which at my age I've still managed to do. And then I had some personal tragedy in the family, and I had to take a break. It is difficult to get over it because I lost my husband. But COVID, you will be surprised to hear, has definitely helped because it has made me focus on my work. Focus on housework and work is very tough. I managed to do it somehow. And I've been very grateful for all my friends who have been giving me work to do, and I've been able to do it. Along with all that, I started these online classes. Basically, started, created my own website, launched classes in the field of language, but very specialized, high-level French, because I'm a French translator interpreter. I've done my PhD in French in the field of interpretation. So I started with a one language class, which is of 1 month duration, to help improve the written French language of MA students. Because during my stint at the Bombay University, where I was teaching BA and MA, BA, of course, you don't expect a very high level from the French students, but at the MA level, I found that the French levels were extremely pathetic. So I have already, during my experience there as a professor, helped people, my students, to improve their languages. So I thought, if I could do it with them, I can definitely do it online. It doesn't have to be in a class. This is my classroom. Started that. I started translation classes. And I also started interpretation classes. And I find that it is a real challenge trying to figure out how to use technology in order to train future interpreters. The solutions are all there. We need to think about it. We need to use it. It's great fun. I have learned a lot. I have gained a lot of experience in all these fields, whether it's in my actual professional life or whether it is not only in as a translator, as an interpreter, but also as a teacher. Now, I do not take beginner classes because I don't want to lower my language. It's very simple. All right. I also work with IGNU, which is, everybody knows, it's one of the biggest e-learning platforms, if not the biggest, where we're already doing, e-education. So I had some clue how to do it, and now I'm getting into it more and more. I find that it is definitely so much more interesting than standing in one classroom, because if you're in one classroom, you only get a limited amount of students from only one place. You're doing it online, you can get people from anywhere. And it really doesn't matter whether they're sitting in the same city as you are, whether they're sitting in the same country, or even in the, like in a different country. It makes no difference whatsoever. And it becomes a real challenge, and it becomes so much more interesting because you get to meet and interact with so many other types of people. So I feel that COVID, yes, I have had major tragedy in my life, but COVID has definitely helped me to improve in my own way in my profession.
That is great. Thank you, Priti. I know you have had a very, painful time, but it's always good to share, be with friends,
Oh,
and
yes.
focus on your, core strength, and that perhaps helps a lot, to come out of this uh, memoir that keeps on coming about your near and dear ones, when, especially when he or she is gone away. I had faced similar kind of issue when my father passed away, when I was in Canada at that period of time. I had to come, rushing, but still I could not see him. I was part of his last ride, but I was not able to say goodbye to him. So that kind of a feeling keeps on coming, and we as a language professional translator, many times many people are introvert. They do not express themselves. So that creates more problem, and it's good that you started talking about it, and boldly I see that you have launched your website also, and your PhD have was done, your book was published. I see lots of activities, going on at your end, and that is a very good sign, and keep yourself positive. I'm sure we as a community, as a language community, will be able to develop more bonding and help each other, especially when we are in a stressful situation. uh, I have been interacting with Uma, Kumudini, and some more friends, and I many times when I talk to them, I de-stress myself, including you, because most of us are almost on the same frequency as a linguist, and face similar problems, professional ones as well as प्रोजेक्ट नहीं आ रहे हैं, अब क्या होगा, फ्यूचर क्या होगा, all these worries, and including publications. If you have something to publish and you are finding it difficult to publish, let me know. I will be happy to be part of become your publisher. So this confidence I can always give you for expression, and certainly Modlingua is now a good platform. We have around 3,500 followers and some good friends around. And I'm sure together we will be able to make it more useful for each other. So do we have some more friends joining in? Let me see. Anybody is interested in sharing his or her feeling? Poonam, Vijay, Sujit, Mohammad Salah. Salah is there. Salah, are you there? Can you uh, start your video and unmute yourself and share your thoughts? Salah is also trying to develop lots of things.
Hello, sir. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, right. So now
Unfortunately, I
can
can't.
you
I can
start your video also?
I think I can't start my video now.
No problem. So
Okay.
let's hear from Salah. Salah, what are you doing then, nowadays?
Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Saleh. I'm from Cairo, Egypt. I started my life as a translator. Later on, I worked as an interpreter, English Arabic interpreter at Biblioteca Alexandrina. And now, as you know, sir, I'm trying to develop my skills as a translator, and I'm also a translation lecturer. I'm launching a new platform for translation. It mainly concerned is not only translation, but language services, learning languages and translation at the same time. So this is the aim. Of course, with your cooperation, we can do that. So here in Egypt, we have the job market for needs translators, but the problem is, I think all over the world, we need competent professional translators. And to do that, we have to exert a lot of time and effort. Here we have, let me say, professional translators and one of the prominent translators all over the world. His name is Mr. Professor Muhammad Ainani. He's so famous and he has lots of publications and books published all over the world. One of his, or many of his books are published or were published from Oxford University, Cambridge, and he's still alive. Yeah, he's I think over 80 years old, but he's still alive. And I had the privilege to have him on my MA. He's the supervisor of my MA. So I'm honored to have him help me and yeah, this is one of the he's one of the prominent names in the translation world. Uh, Nowadays, of course, because of COVID-19, um, we can't like meet students face to face, so we had to meet them online. So this is a problem. For example, if you want to teach interpreting, how can you do that? So this is one of the problems, but we can use modern technology to come over that. For example, we can use a program like Sanako Lab for language teaching. Of course, we can use it for interpretation. As you said, I'm trying to launch my new project. It's Polylingua. It means multilingual platform. So I want it to be in collaboration with Modlingua to be a professional platform for translation and languages. Currently, we teach translation, English Arabic, translation English Spanish, translation interpreting, English classes, Spanish and Arabic for non-native speaker. We want to add many languages later on, but as a start, this is still a start in this field. Um, I like translation. This is my passion, and I like to know more about translation theoretically and practically. For example, theoretically, as all of you know, we have many translation series starting from Venuti, foreignization, domestication, the rule of translators, the invisibility or the visibility of the translators. So we need to develop new methods and technologies for translations. So, of course, based on the old theories, so that we can develop the way of teaching translation and to produce or to help other translators or beginners to work in that field professionally. Also, there's a problem from my point of view. Um, People who work as freelance translators don't get paid well. Why? Because some translators, because we don't have, of course, we have professionals, and of course, at the same times, we don't have professional translators. So they accept to get like lower payments. So that affects the professional ones. So this is a problem I see it in specifically in the freelancing or platforms like such as like Upwork, Freelancer, and so on. So we need to discuss that as well. And of course, here in Egypt, for example, we don't have an association for a translator or a syndicate for translators. So we don't have that. So it's like if you want to work as a translator, you can do that regardless your bachelor degree or qualifications. So I don't know in India or in other parts of the world if you have the same problem, but this is a problem and I suffer from that. For me, yes, I sometimes I work as a freelancer in on these platforms, but I have to accept to get paid like lower prices, although the quality is very well and so professional. But I have to do to accept that if I want to work and continue working. So this is some of the problems that I wanted to share with you. And thank you, sir, for having this discussion, great discussion with translators.
Right. It's very good, Salah, to understand whatever things that you are doing. And I recall we have had a discussion about courses and how we can improve it, how it can be launched, etc. As discussed, we will work on it together and see how best we can cooperate with each other, because the idea is to promote translation professionally, and for that there are certain procedure to be followed. there are certain standards to be placed while developing courses. You have to go through certain procedure. For example, you need to understand learning objectives, learning outcomes. This is part of research methodology and teaching methodology, uh, and it comes through experience only. And it's good that friends from abroad, including Egypt, have joined us, and we also have some friends on YouTube channel who are there from Canada. For example, our patron Dr. Sneh Thakur is there. I would like to welcome her and say hello to her also from Canada. And we have some more friends from different parts of India, including, I see this time Mumbai people are more closer to Delhi. I see lots of Mumbaikar, Marathi Manus here, who is with us today, and I'm very happy that they are able to come forward and join together. So Salah, thank you very much for sharing your experience, your plans, and you were talking about problems of hiring professionals, fees, etc. The professional hiring is always done by professionals. Non-professionals do not hire, professional people. They will always look for non-professional people because they find at low cost. So there is always, a difference. You have to identify whom you are interacting with. If you are interacting with a non-professional person and you are expecting a professional standard and, similarly fees, etc., then it can be a myth. So you have studied Venuti, or you have studied Slimaha, domestication, foreignization, invisibility, visibility, chunking of PIM, or variety of, or Delote of France, or Bismarck of Germany, etc. is good thing. But in translation and studies, I have introduced a new concept. And that is persona of the translator. It plays important role in translation. So if a persona, a person who is not professionally aware of his surroundings, his setup where he or she works in, social, political, economic, as well as system in which he or she works in, he or she will always face problems. He will or she will not be able to find a proper remuneration for the work he or she does. So it is important to, apart from learning theory of variety of philosophers, variety of experts, or even learning variety of software programs or CAT tools, including Trados, WordFast, Babelface, etc., 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 or artificial intelligence now. It is equally important to talk to each other, learn from each other, share feelings, and shape your personality. And then think of entering into professional world, or you can parallelly do so, but you have to learn and evolve. Otherwise, you will keep on facing problems, and frustration will come up, and most of the time many people give up. But believe me, if proper orientation is done about the profession, it is a profession that can make you millionaire, and it is very satisfying as well, because you are bridging cultures, you are bridging technology, you are bridging gaps, legal, medical, philosophical, scholarly, diplomacy. Take any field, you need a translator or a linguist to play a role, including cross-cultural roles, So I believe these things are important, Salah. So think of when you are talking about introducing courses of languages, translation, it's good, but I have always been advocating these points which are not taught in colleges, not in schools, including Priti was talking about courses in interpreting. It's very good area, As an interpreter, I enjoy a lot, and you learn a lot while doing jobs. So recently, I did a interpreting for one NGO which works for upliftment of tribals in India. So they were like empowering tribals of Madhya Pradesh, tribals of Jharkhand, tribals of Chhattisgarh. And while interpreting for them, I learned so many things about, the inner part, inner life, which I could have not read perhaps in the books. I listened to them and learned from them. Most recently, I learned what is called collective well-being of leaders. What is self-well-being as well as collective well-being. So, for example, you get stressed, fully stressed, and you work from morning till evening, and this routine continues for a longer period of time, and you believe that you are doing great work. But the reality is, after a certain period of time, the human mind as well as body, gets tired, and the productivity goes down. So if you continuously keep on working, and you believe that you are doing good work, it's not possible, my friend. It can be for some period of time, but then it starts affecting your health. Number one, you get drained. You are not able to, produce yourself well, present yourself well. Your creativity decreases, productivity decreases, personal life becomes a hell. Your family starts suffering. You making a start, others suffer. Instead of you being a leader, you become a sufferer and you make others suffer. So the best thing is to do introspection. Think about the problems that you are facing. Cut down lots of unwanted activities. Take a break and try to improve your health and total well-being. Total well-being means mental, physical, social, intellectual, spiritual. So if you are, sound in all these four directions, and you think of those points for others also in your family, friend circle, in the office there where you work in as a leader, you develop a collective well-being of people around you. And that trust that gets created, pushes you up. So this is what I learned recently, and it can be equated with a poem which was from, Rumi's poem, and that poem is talking about, fire. How fire, is put in the logs. If you bundle all those logs, without gap, consider those logs to be good things. So if you bundle too many good things together, how you will put fire in that? How will you spread it? So in order to spread good things, you have to create some space. And that space in life also is required. And that space is created, and that, helps these fire, spark to spread and give you more energy and fire, So that's how, if you make too many logs together, you will not be able to burn them in a better way. But if you place them well and just spark the fire, it will catch, a big fire like anything. Similarly, in life also, if you try to push too many things together and too many good things also together, it is not going to spread. So you have to keep adding value with gaps. So this is what is my, take from my interpreting experience recently. And similarly, more things will come during this pandemic time. So I'm sure there could be more people who could have learned during this pandemic time. And I will be happy to hear from any of you who wants to share? Is Vijay there? Swati, Poonam, Vishwanath, Nisha, anyone who would like to speak up? Please give me a message here in chat box. Otherwise, I will come back again to Vishwanath. You want to share something, Dr. Vishwanath? First, you have to unmute yourself. Yes, please.
So
Vishwanath,
good evening, everyone.
good evening, please.
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Poliseti Chiranjeev Vishwanath from Andhra Pradesh. So I
Good to
have
hear.
been working as assistant professor of English in engineering college. So I have done my PhD in translation studies. So
That
I
is
have,
great.
yes, sir, yes, sir. So I have translated some Telugu short stories into English, and I have analyzed those short stories by some translation theory, which is proposed by Venuti. So I worked on domestication and foreignization strategies in translation. So I'm very happy to take part in this webinar. I thank Ravi sir for creating such a wonderful and nice platform. So I have been subscribed to Modlingua since several years. I have been following all the webinars conducted by Modlingua. So it's really an enriching and a great platform for me. So I'm expecting a lot of personal and professional growth from this modeling work. So I'm very much interested in taking part the translation activities. So I want to be a regular translator. So that is why I'm taking part in this webinar, especially. So as Uma Balu ma'am talked about some project, so I'm also very much interested to take part in the project. So from Telugu language, if any contribution is needed, so I'm very much interested to contribute from my side. So I don't know whether I am eligible or not. So I am requesting Uma ma'am for my contributions. Regarding COVID period, it's both a mixture of good and bad for me. So good in the sense I got my doctorate in this August itself, and I have participated in so many webinars, workshops. I improved my resume from 2 pages to 7 pages. I attended so many online classes, workshops, everything. And coming to bad experiences, we are receiving half salary from the college management. That is the only thing. So this is I want to share. Once again, I thank everyone for providing this opportunity.
So that is great. Thank you, Dr. Vishwanath. It was great understanding you as well as your work and your work on Lawrence Venuti, a very good philosopher who talks about translators as invisible and translators invisibility. And I am totally opposite to him. I am talking about visibility of the translators. So I have studied a little bit of his works, and which is very, very revolutionary. And almost all translation scholars study his book, and it is a very, very important one. So I'm sure your PhD could be of great help for Telugu translators as well as for other Indian language translators. See, the
Thank
idea
you, sir.
is I am looking at developing a translation culture where or study or translation studies where we look less towards Western world for philosophical foundations. We are, being a multilingual country, we have around 1600 officially recognized languages. Although under schedule there are only few 31s, but 1600 are identified, sub languages or languages we can say by Indian government as well as by UNESCO. And still we've tried to find foundations in Western world for theories and alike thing. Whereas we could have developed our own, because translation per se is part of Indian tradition since ages. In fact, the translation, if you go through the history of development, you will notice that translation was very useful during ancient period of time, including during Buddhist period, when we lots of things were taken to China, and from China it came to us, and from other parts of the world also, the information was disseminated. Similarly, information has been disseminated from one corner, north, Afghanistan rather, or Iran, to Sri Lanka in south, and it has passed through stages of development from one language to another, from let's say from Persian to Arabic, from Arabic to Kashmiri to Urdu, from Urdu to Punjabi, from Punjabi to Hindi, from Hindi to Bengali, from Bengali to Uriya, from Uriya to Gujarati, and so on. Similarly to Tamil, to Telugu, from Telugu to Malayalam, from Malayalam to uh, Tamil. So this kind of series, I will say, chain has been in India as a kind of migration from one language to another, from one layer to another layer, from one age to another age, and all these things was done through translation. Although, if you try and locate a little bit more deeper, Indian tradition has rather, instead of doing translation, they have been rather interpreting things and adding values from one generation to another. This is what is called Rupantar. We learn from one generation, add value, and pass it on to another. Oral traditions. And this itself, this is also a translation, And many times we talk about, from Western point of view, we talk about translators as traitors, we talk about translators as communicators. It's a plain passing of information, from Western point of view. But if we try and look it from Indian point of view, it is not purely passing of information from one language to another. It is enriching one language to another. That's how, this ethos of Indianness, or values and culture that we have, has been embedded in India, since ages. So the concept of Ramayana, Mahabharata, as well as Jatak Kathain, Panchtantra, etc. India was created not in 1947. All these things was already there in India, 5,000 years back, or rather much before than that. So who was able to do all this, translation thing? It were all the linguist people. And it was oral tradition. So who were these people? So we have not been able to explore little deeper into these questions that come. So my contention to all scholars has always been to tell them this story, and try to explore what were the points of departure, what were the points of assimilation of information, dissemination of information from one generation to another. All these rishis, all these Purans, all these Vedas, how it has been enriched, and how it has been spread from one corner to another, and how it was able to create a kind of oneness. India is one, not from 1947, but from much longer period of time. It was, even it has reached to Bali, Sumatra, Indonesia, and Malaysia. So I'm talking about that India. Maybe these new coming scholars could think of and come out with certain revolutionary book that can shock the world and tell them that this is how the translation studies in India has come up, and it is not purely translation that talks about translation of information or word to word or sense to sense or mix of both, rather enrichment of knowledge. Can we think of such stories, or can we think of some theories of that kind, something of that sort? That these are my feelings that keeps on coming to me. So I just thought of sharing when Dr. Vishwanath talked about his PhD and some theories, that he has worked on. I'm sure next thing could be something of that sort coming from some more people of our community. So Nisha, are you there? Would you like to come forward and share some of your thoughts? We have some 10-15 minutes in our hand. If you can, welcome. You have to unmute yourself first.
Actually, I'm a student as yet. I'm not into translating or interpretation. I will probably be like, I'm learning Japanese as for now, and I'm doing BA in Japanese. So maybe I'll do it in a few years. But I just joined this group because I thought it will be more like it will give me a more kind of exposure.
Right.
So
So that's
yeah,
okay. So you are learning Japanese.
yeah,
So what level
yeah.
you have done? I mean,
Actually, I'm doing it from my college. And I'm doing a degree, so I'll be taking JLPT in like next few months because
so
it got
you
cancelled.
okay. So and what is your studies currently on?
I'm doing BA in Japanese, so it is Bachelor of Arts in Japanese.
Oh, great. So from where?
TMV, there's this college, Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapit. It's in Pune,
Pune. So you are
and I'm
oh
from
right.
Pune.
Wow. So that's why I was talking. We have too many Marathi Manos here. Even
Yeah,
yeah,
but
nice.
I'm not a Maharashtrian though. Like I don't speak Marathi.
No problem. So you have been doing your courses in Japanese, and now uh, you are in first year, second year, or which year?
I'm in second year as for now.
Oh, great. So best of luck to you, Nisha, and hope you will have more opportunity to interact and learn from each other. We will also learn from you about your college. Uh, do we have any more friends who could
Sure,
like?
thank you.
Thank you, Nisha. So Vijay, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Aye.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Vijay. Good to see you.
I have, sir, I'm just a small teacher in a CBSE school in Jharkhand. I learned so many things from you. You met me in Instituto Cervantes so many times during so many seminar was going on. So I try to learn from you and everyone, and I have so many things. Means in my mind, translations is coming always. I have done very few translations. I was translator in Punjab also. Even I have done interpretation in Spanish language. I was guide also, but try to learn so many things from you all. And one day I will definitely translate so many things in Hindi.
That is
So
great. बहुत अच्छा विजय जी, आपने तो कमाल कर दिया. आप तो टीचर होना इज अ बिग थिंग. आप बोलते हैं स्मॉल थिंग. टीचर से अच्छा तो कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता है. मेरे हिसाब से टीचर से अच्छा भी कोई प्रोफेशन नहीं.
but
Number one.
now in COVID, sir, we are getting less payment. So that's why I am finding some extra thing to do and like creative thing where I can use my potential and everything.
Right.
Thank
I
you.
understand. और आपने दो चीज बताई, ट्रांसलेटर भी हैं आप और दूसरा गाइड भी हैं.
Yes.
I met a person.
Not now I was.
Yeah. I met a person who was appointed as ambassador to India. He is from Ecuador. Okay.
Okay.
And by he is called Cardenas, but he calls himself cacao because Ecuador has lots of coca.
Yes, sir.
And professionally he has been a guide, tourist guide. But being a guide, the president of Ecuador knew him that he's a very good guide and he can be a good ambassador. So he was appointed as ambassador to India for being a guide. So that's the talent of a guide also.
Thank you, sir. Gracias.
So thanks, Vijay ji, आपने अपना share किया experience. I'm sure there will be more opportunities to come when you will be able to get some good work from Spanish to Hindi. because अभी तो directly Spanish to Hindi वाले लोग की संख्या कम है, and it's good that you have taken up training programs as well as translation.
Even I have learned so many books translated by Bibha Moria and Sonia ma'am,
Right.
even Ganguly sir also. So they make me inspired to do something extra.
Right. So that is what it is, you know. Good. Keep moving. So I am seeing we have one more friend, Swati Chaudhary. If you are around, we will be happy to hear you as well. Would you like to say something, Swati? If you hear me, bad luck that Aparna was not able to carry it forward. Let's come back to Uma. And आप पहले अपने आप को अनम्यूट कीजिए उमा जी. हाँ, right. Uma, can you hear me?
Yes, Raviji.
Okay, so now Uma, मैं आपसे एक क्वेश्चन सब पूछूंगा, उसका जवाब दीजिए. I learned that you have been trying to promote education
Yes.
of students from India to Japan.
Yes.
What is it all about? Can you share some information so that maybe if somebody is listening to us can be of help, you know, to them?
Definitely, yes. Actually, I have tied up with 2 schools in Japan. Okay, one school offers training in animation and also business IT. Another school offers courses in Japanese language itself. And for those who have cleared a certain number of levels, they also offer courses in beauty, hotel management, like that, the same school. Okay, so they offer both. First, we have to complete the Japanese levels, and then if you are interested, we can go to beauty and hotel management, wedding arrangement, like that. They have some very interesting courses. So I have tied up with both the schools. So anyone who is interested in doing a course in animation or business IT or even studying in Japan, and there is also a good demand for IT professionals who know Japanese. At least 3 levels of Japanese if they have cleared, then they have very good demand in Japan. And I have a friend in Japan who actually gets placements for them. So I can help a lot of people that way.
Wow. So how is the response?
Response is actually very good. And 2 of my students have already joined that school in Kyoto where they did their business IT. They completed the course and they are now placed successfully in Japan. They have been working there for 3 years, 3 or more than 3 years, I think.
That is a great thing, Umaji. So, I mean, when they go to Japan, even if somebody has not learned Japanese, can they go?
Yeah, actually, they expect 150 hours of Japanese learning as a basis. This is not for the course because the course is in English medium. But this is kind of a survival program because once they are in Japan, they definitely need to communicate with others who don't know English. So it is keeping in mind that 150 hours of learning, but with or without an N5 certificate. They don't really have to get the certificate, but at least 150 hours of learning, which is equivalent to N5, would be appreciated.
That is great. Thank you, Umaji.
And that I can definitely help.
It's very helpful. Right. Okay.
I can help train students for 150 hours. All the basic learning, everything I can give.
That is great. So you have already kind of developed a module and you, it's like a bridge program and you help them and they fly to Japan. That's great.
Yes.
So now let's see. I wanted to talk to a little bit with Priti also. So Priti, how is your interpreting thing going? You have to unmute yourself first. Still muted.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah, please.
I have one student, obviously, in the field of interpretation. Don't expect too many. But it's going well and he's picking up. He stays in a place called Nasik, which you really have a big demand for interpretation. I know because I studied the market when I was doing my research for my thesis, and I know exactly what the market is all over the country. Now in Nasik, you have demand for French because you have Sula Wines, who has big collaboration with France naturally, and there are many people who come to Nasik. Also, I studied the market for interpretation in Pune, which is not too far, and Pune is a huge market for interpretation for the simple reason that the many MNCs from all over the world, whether they are in Japan, or they're from Germany, or they're from other countries, they have started factories in and around Pune, and Pune, must be correct from the political point of view. They have started these factories. They need interpreters to communicate with the local people. Now, having studied the market, I realized that interpretation, when you teach it, what you need to teach is the methodology. Once they've understood the methodology, it may not be in French. So I'm offering classes from English into Hindi and Hindi into English, because the methodology is what is important. I know that for this student in Pune, there is work. I know for students in anyone who wants to learn, there is work in this country, and I know the language combinations. So it was while I was doing this entire research that I realized that there is such an enormous market in this country for interpretation. Translation to hai hi. But even for interpretation, yes, the language combinations are different. It doesn't matter. As long as you can speak the languages correctly and you are proficient. I don't just mean mujhe ye language aati hai to main kar sakti hu. No, and that's not what I'm talking about. You need a certain mastery in that language in order to interpret. I have found, and I do realize, this is a very small amount of people that this particular course will attract. Doesn't matter. Let's get started. Because what is important is making people understand that what they need to learn is the methodology. They need to know that interpretation, there is a particular methodology. Once you know that, you go out and interpret. Unfortunately, what is happening in this country, and I think all of you will agree, is that translation interpretation, nothing needed. I can do it. I know the language. Pass it on. I can handle it. Fortunately, that's not true, and that is the reason why there are so few good interpreters that are coming out of this country, which is unfortunate. Anyhow, come back to this one student. He's picking up really well. He's getting the hang of it. Obviously, he's going to require a lot of practice. That's normal. I mean, we also practice for years on end. That doesn't mean that we are worse off than those who say, "Hame to bhasha aati, hum kar lete hain." It's not like that. There is a lot of training involved, and then they can pick it up, because Indians, being multilingual, could go either way. It could either be a big advantage or could be a big disadvantage. Why do I say disadvantage? Because the problem is that we say, I know the language. Can you speak the language? Why are you taught how to speak the language correctly in school? Are you taught how to write it correctly in school? The only thing children want in schools or colleges, we want our marks. We want 100%, otherwise we will not get a good college. We're not interested in learning. So that is why it becomes a big disadvantage, because the linguistic levels in this country are pathetic. Also, the cognitive levels are pathetic. Fortunately, I was looking for students who have a decent level of not only language proficiency, but also of general knowledge. And this student has both. So he doesn't have any problems. I don't have to waste time with him explaining the entire background of what we're going to discuss. I just go straight into the methodology and teach it, and he's picking up really well. Yes, he needs practice. You have to practice. Anything you do, you have to work hard. But all I'm trying to say is that interpretation does require a lot of training. It requires a lot of hard work, both on the part of the trainer and those who want to learn. I'm also saying that Indians have a great deal of talent and can do it, providing they get the training. They say, and also one of the things that came up in my research, where do we go? I say now people will start training. Come to us. Whether it is Ravi, whether it is me, whether it's so-and-so, whether it's this institute or that institute, please check that even these institutes which are there teach you correctly, because a lot of them don't. They only teach you, some of them only teach you theory. I don't want to take names. Some of them will only teach you the theory. What good is that? You're not going to go out and write a whole, a full paper on it, are you? You have to go and actually interpret in the field. What are the requirements of the market? Is your training capable of handling that? So please check these things and come to those people who can give you the correct form of training. It is important, it's working. This is just the start, but I'm pretty sure that some of us who have done it, who know how to do it, and who can do it now online because we've been doing it, can definitely reach out to more people and train them. And we know that methodology is what is important. The languages, as long as they have proficient, and not just proficiency, but pretty good at their language combinations. So it is working, Ravi. It is definitely working. And I'm pretty happy with the progress. I didn't expect this sort of progress to come out.
Hello, great. That's great, Priti. In fact, you rightly said, especially even for translation as well as for interpreting, you should know at least the theory part.
Yeah.
Even for example, I will talk to you about translation. I have been doing translation for quite long period of time. Studied during my BN and master program. Some translation drill, structuring, non-structuring, from a small problem to more problems and bigger complex sentences. This is what Chomsky has taught, and practicing it. But I have had not the opportunity to go through the theory part. So later on, I realized that there is something missing. And then I went to Canada for my PhD in translation. And there, when I started learning about theory, and then started relating with problems that I was, facing, and I was able to place myself where I was coming from. It gave me more confidence to tackle variety of situations in translation. Although I have studied more of a literature part of the theory, but it helps you even solve technical problems as well as professional challenges, cultural, social, linguistic, and whatnot. There are a variety of layers of problems that come into translation. Similarly, in interpreting, of the cognitive load that we are talking about, how brain functions. If you don't know, and if you believe that you will be able to do interpreting for 1 hour at a stretch, you are a bloody fool. It means.
Yeah, there's some who do it for 2 hours and say we have no problems.
Right. So that means you're not doing interpreting at all.
Obviously, they don't know the ABC of interpretation.
Because cognitive load tells you to slow down by 20 minutes or 30 minutes, maximum 40 minutes when you are something, when you have a command or something and which is appealing you a lot. But something which you have to do differently and difficult situation, you face lots of problem there. And there comes the theory. So you have to learn to tackle those and place yourself well. Otherwise, it becomes problematic. So
Correct.
mine, similarly, how to upgrade yourself, improve upon your mistakes, the brain mapping that you do when you are doing interpreting, taking notes and then instantly using it for your next level of interpretation. I mean, there is a mapping that is done when we are doing interpreting. Simultaneous, what I'm talking about. So if you don't learn all these things and you are simply doing plain information translation, I'm sure you are doing lots of things wrong. Only God can save you. So this happens when they are fired, from the booth, or when they are not able to do well, and when the negative things come. Some good people, sensitive people, they think of either they stop or they try to learn and improve upon. But they are thick-skinned people. So those thick-skinned people, they continue to do mistakes and get fired and feel happy about it. So that brings bad name to the profession.
Absolutely.
So we have, I have invited yet another friend of ours called Dr. Arti, Pathak, a very good translator, as well as teacher, writer. She is doing so many things in, you know, Chhattisgarh area. So welcome,
Good
Arti.
evening. Hello, everyone. Good evening, all.
So
Hello,
we are
everyone.
just sharing, you know, our thoughts during this COVID time, how we are doing, how we are performing, what is our well-being, you know, and we are trying to understand each other. So Arti, please welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You want to say something? What are you doing currently? और आपका भी मैंने I was just going through your news about publication of your article in you know in Focus News.
Focus News, yes, sir.
Today, अंतर्राष्ट्रीय क्षितिज पर हिंदी का बढ़ता स्वरूप एवं संभावनाएं. That's great. It's a good topic, you know. I could have taken maybe someday we will organize a webinar on this. Hindi is rising, you know. Uma Balu, who sits in South, she is very passionate about promoting Hindi in Tamil Nadu area. So
hello, ma'am.
So क्या लिखा है आपने, जरा बताइए आपने उस राइटिंग के बारे में, आपका जो आर्टिकल है.
सभी को पहले तो नमस्कार. मैंने आपका मैसेज थोड़ा लेट देखा सर, इसलिए लेट ज्वाइनिंग के लिए.
नो प्रॉब्लम, बट देर आए दुरुस्त है.
मैंने हिंदी के बारे में ये लिखा है सर कि क्या होता है कि हिंदी को लेके, हिंदी साहित्य को लेके या हिंदी भाषा को लेके एक बहुत गलत धारणा ये है कि हिंदी को पढ़ के क्या करेंगे. युवा जो हैं वो हिंदी के विषय में ऐसा ही सोचते हैं कि हमें क्या मिलता है, हिंदी पढ़ने से हम क्या कर सकते हैं. तो हमने ये प्रयास किया कि हिंदी पढ़ने से ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि आप इंग्लिश पढ़ के या फ्रेंच पढ़ के जो चीज पा सकते हैं. अगर आपका हिंदी में उतना कमांड है तो हम हिंदी साहित्य के साथ या हिंदी भाषा के साथ बहुत सारे प्रयोग कर रहे हैं. दुनिया में बहुत प्रयोग हो रहे हैं. जैसे जो क्वालिटी लैंग्वेज का जो एक एरिया डेवलप हुआ है, जहाँ की लैंग्वेज फैली करके जो एक बहुत बड़ा ना विकसित हुआ है मोदी जी के शासन काल में. जो बाहर के देशों में जो ट्रांसलेशन का दौर शुरू हुआ है हिंदी के बहुत सारे साहित्य को लेके और मीडिया को लेके, बाजार को लेके, तो ये जो भ्रम है उसको तोड़ने की कोशिश है सर कि हिंदी को लेके हम कुछ कर नहीं सकते हैं. अगर आपकी एक भाषा में अधिकार है, आपका एक भाषा में अधिकार है और आप शिद्दत से उसको करते हैं तो आपके लिए बहुत सारा प्लेटफॉर्म है. जैसे आज के दौर में मीडिया लेखन है, ब्लॉग राइटिंग है, कहना चाहिए आपका जो स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग है, डायलॉग्स राइटिंग है. ये सारी चीजों का केवल हिंदी लिटरेचर को पढ़ के या हिंदी भाषा को पढ़ के हम सिर्फ एक कविता लिखें, कहानी लिखें, उपन्यास लिखें या टीचर बने, ऐसी जो भावनाएं मन में जो कहते हैं रूढ़ी या मने समा गई हैं, उसको तोड़ने की जरूरत है. तो मैंने एक इसी पे प्रयास किया है. मैं लगातार इस पे लिखती रहती हूँ कि प्रयोजन मूलक हिंदी का जो आज एरिया है, ग्लोबलाइजेशन के समय में ऐसी बातें हुई हैं सर कि जब बाहर से कंपनियां यहाँ आती हैं तो उनको मजबूरी में हिंदी सीखना या उत्पाद को बेचने के लिए हिंदी का प्रयोग करना ही पड़ता है. क्योंकि जब हम रूरल बेल्ट में जाते हैं तो वहाँ उनकी इंग्लिश को या उनकी अन्य भाषाओं को समझने के लिए लोग तैयार नहीं हैं. तो वहां तक अगर आपको अपनी चीजों को बेचना है तो आपको या मीडिया या बाहर के लोगों को अपनी चीजों को बोलने के लिए, समझाने के लिए हिंदी की आवश्यकता कहीं ना कहीं पड़ती ही है. और हम देख भी रहे हैं कि जो पहली मूवी आई सर जुरासिक पार्क, तो उनके जो फिल्म मेकर थे उन्होंने जो डबिंग की हिंदी में वो ये सोच के किया कि भारत का जो नेटवर्क है, बाजार है, वो बहुत बड़ा है. और वो फिल्म हिंदी में डब होने के कारण इतनी हिट हुई कि उसके बाद एक प्रचलन आ गया कि लगभग बाहर की जो भी पिक्चरें हैं वो हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट या उसको हिंदी में प्रयोग किया जा रहा है. चाइना जैसे बड़े देश में जहाँ हिंदी को लेके बहुत सारा न सिर्फ हिंदी के लिए बल्कि अन्य भाषाओं के लिए भी वो बड़े अपने भाषा के लिए बड़े सचेत हैं कि आप आइए तो मैंड्रीन में ही बोलिए या मैंड्रीन में ही अपने उत्पाद को बेचिए. उसको वो विकल्प दूसरी भाषा का औरों को देते नहीं थे. लेकिन आज जो है वहाँ के लगभग तमाम विश्वविद्यालयों में न सिर्फ हिंदी पढ़ाई जा रही है बल्कि हिंदी को अपनाया भी जा रहा है, क्योंकि भारत जो है मार्केट के हिसाब से एक बहुत बड़ा उभरता हुआ क्षेत्र पूरे विश्व को दिख रहा है। तो ऐसा एक प्रयास है सर मेरा, मैंने प्रयास किया है।
बहुत अच्छा आरती जी। इनफैक्ट मैं आपकी बात से पूरी तरह से सहमत हूं कि इधर लास्ट 5 से 10 साल के बीच की मैं बात कर रहा हूं, 2010 से ले लीजिए, ये 10 से लेके अभी तक का जो समय है, खास के जिसमें गूगल फेनोमेना बहुत तेज हुआ है, कंटेंट कंजम्पशन जो है वो फेसबुक एंड वो लोकलाइज्ड हो गया है, हर घर से में फोन है और हर कोई अपनी भाषा में लिखना चाहता है, बोलना चाहता है, एक्सप्रेस करना चाहता है, और ऐसी स्थिति में हिंदी भाषी लोग की संख्या चूंकि भारत में ज्यादा है तो उसका डिमांड जो है वो ऑटोमेटिकली बढ़ गया है, और सर्टेनली मार्केट जो है वो कंज्यूमर के रिक्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से चलता है। और कंज्यूमर भारत का जो हिंदी भाषी है या दूसरे भाषाओं के, हिंदी के अलावा तमिल है, तेलुगु है, पंजाबी है, इन सब का जोड़ कुछ ज्यादा बढ़ गया है जब से भारत के इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट का एक तरह से समझिए स्टोरी सक्सेस बन के बाहर आया है। तो अब जनता जनार्दन जो डिमांड करेगी वही चीज वो बनाएंगे, जो प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं इंक्लूडिंग गूगल कंटेंट बनाएगा तमिल में, तेलुगु में, हिंदी में, मराठी में। सिमिलरली जो कंप्यूटर बनाने वाले हैं माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, उन्होंने लोकलाइज किया सारे कंप्यूटर के अपने सॉफ्टवेयर को हिंदी में, अंग्रेजी में, तमिल, अंग्रेजी में पहले होता था, बट मुझे याद है कि हमारा जो एक पहला कॉन्फ्रेंस जब हमने कराया था 2005 में, तो माइक्रोसॉफ्ट में ने हमारे ही कॉन्फ्रेंस में हिंदी वर्जन लॉन्च किया था एमएस ऑफिस का, एंड वो हमारा पहला कॉन्फ्रेंस का स्पॉन्सर भी था माइक्रोसॉफ्ट। क्यों था? क्योंकि उसको जरूरत थी, नहीं तो वो स्पॉन्सर क्यों करेगा किसी चीज को। और फिर धीरे धीरे उसने फिर ग्रो किया अपने, एंड उसके बाद फिर जो स्टोरी बनी, फिर दूसरे प्रोडक्ट्स की, बाहर से जितने भी प्रोडक्ट्स आते हैं, चाइना से आए हों या यूरोप से आ रहे हों या अमेरिका से आ रहे हों, एटलीस्ट जो डिस्क्रिप्शंस होता है प्रोडक्ट का वो जिस जगह जा रहा होता है उसी भाषा में बनाया जाता है। सिमिलरली ऐप जो है मल्टीलिंगुअल बनने शुरू हो गए हैं, पहले सिर्फ अंग्रेजी में बोल दी जाती थी। इवन अब यूट्यूब चैनल पे आप देख रहे हैं वैरायटी ऑफ वीडियोस आ रही हैं, वो डिफरेंट इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस में आ रही हैं। तो ये तो फेनोमेना, ये तो बहुत अच्छा है हमारे लिए, भाषाओं के लिए खास के ग्रोथ का एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है। और इस अपॉर्चुनिटी को हम ये कह के टाल दें कि अरे यार हिंदी को कौन देखता है। भाई हिंदी तो अब इंटरनेशनल लैंग्वेज हो चुका है, और दूसरी भाषाएं भी जो भारत की हैं, नंबर ज्यादा है ना, तमिल है, मराठी है, पंजाबी है, तेलुगु है, इनफैक्ट ये सब एक अच्छा है। एटलीस्ट जो वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में नॉर्वे, स्वीडन, ये सब लैंग्वेजेस जो है, इन सब से तो बेटर लैंग्वेज का नंबर यहाँ है, भारत में है। भारत अपने आप में एक बड़ा वो है, यूरोपियन यूनियन है एक तरह से समझ लीजिए। तो हम कहने के लिए बोलते हैं कि भारत इंडिया की भाषा है, तमिल है, तेलुगु है, बट वो अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा एक मार्केट है। और प्लस मार्केट के अलावा इट्स नॉट ओनली मार्केट, मैं बोलूंगा, बट ऑल्सो एक जो एक्सप्रेशन है लोगों का कि भाई मैं अपने आप को अपनी भाषा में एक्सप्रेस करूं। अब तो नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी ने भी मोहर लगा दी है, जो लोकल लैंग्वेजेस में, प्राइमरी एजुकेशन में लोकल लैंग्वेजेस में ही ज्यादा जोर दिया जा रहा है। मैं लगातार वो हमारे जो एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर हैं निशंक जी, उनका मैं आर्टिकल देख रहा हूँ, भारतीय भाषाओं का कितना तेजी से ग्रोथ होने का लग रहा है। मुझे लगता है कि और जो पॉलिसी मेकर्स हैं, इवन जो एजुकेटर्स हैं अक्रॉस इंडिया, वो लोग चाहते हैं कि भारतीय भाषाओं का में ही अब किताबें आए। अभी एक मेरे मित्र हैं डॉक्टर राम सिंह और उनकी पत्नी गीतांजलि, उन्होंने 10+2 के लिए केमिस्ट्री की किताब निकाली है हिंदी में। पहले लोग अंग्रेजी में निकालते थे, बट एक बहुत ही अच्छी किताब निकली है। एंड तो अब लिटरेचर की तो मैं बात कर रहा था, जो हम किताबें लिखते रहते हैं, लिटरेचर आर्ट्स वाली किताब, बट अब साइंस वाली किताबें भी अगर आने लगे इस तरह से इनिशिएटिव लेके, तो राइटर और कंज्यूमर दोनों के बीच में एक अच्छा खासा सिनर्जी बन सकता है। और मुझे लगता है कि इसका बहुत अच्छा चलन स्टार्ट हुआ है और इट इज गिविंग अस गुड सेल्फ एटलीस्ट प्राइड कि भाई हम अपनी भाषा में अपने आप एक्सप्रेस कर रहे हैं। तो इससे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट तो कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता है। लोगों का ये कहना कि भाई हिंदी में जोर नहीं है, मुझे लगता है कि ये छोटी सोच है। बड़ा सोचिएगा, अगर थोड़ा सा वाइड कीजिएगा अपना होराइजन, तो मुझे तो इंटरनेशनल मार्केट में जो हिंदी का जो अभी दिख रहा है डिमांड, वो फ्रेंच स्पेनिश वगैरह भारत में है। भारत के परिप्रेक्ष्य से हम देखें तो फ्रेंच, जापानीज, चाइनीज, कोरियन, स्पेनिश, ये सब बहुत पीछे हैं।
सर ऑलमोस्ट जितने भी सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनीज है वहाँ एक हिंदी लिंग्विस्ट हायर ही कर रहे हैं, चाहे माइक्रोसॉफ्ट हो या सैप हो, उनकी
राइट, अब तो
वैकेंसी
टीम
आ
बना
रही
रहे
है।
हैं। राइट, हर
जी
जगह
जी,
टीम बन रही है अच्छी लोकलाइज
जैसे
करने की।
जी जैसे
उनके पास कोई
माइक्रोसॉफ्ट
रास्ता
के
नहीं
जो
है।
नहीं है, दधीची जी जो हैं, बालेंदु दधीची जी
हाँ,
मार्केट,
माइक्रोसॉफ्ट
वो
वाले।
लगातार हिंदी के जी जी वो लगातार इस पे काम करते जा रहे हैं और बहुत बड़ा काम कर रहे हैं सर।
ऑलरेडी
और
गूगल और
आपको एक
फेसबुक ने,
मैं यहाँ पे जी जी
फेसबुक वालों ने 100 लोगों को हायर किया है जो अभी अमेरिका बेस्ड हैं और सब हिंदी भाषी लोग हैं।
सर मैं एक बात इसमें कहना चाहती हूँ कि
जी।
जो मैं चूंकि छत्तीसगढ़ से हूँ तो ये एक ट्राइबल बेल्ट है। 4 साल पहले यहाँ पे फ्रांस से 2 प्रोफेसर आए, पति पत्नी, उन्होंने यहाँ का एक ट्राइबल लैंग्वेज, मैं यहाँ 22 साल से हूँ, मुझे मालूम नहीं है, वो कहीं से सर्च करते हुए हैदराबाद आए। हैदराबाद CIFL से उनको पता चला कि तेलंगाना का जो बॉर्डर है और छत्तीसगढ़ का जो बॉर्डर है वहां पे वो बोली बोली जाती है। तो उन्होंने वहां पे वो एक जो है वो हिंदी की प्राध्यापिका है और उनके जो हस्बैंड थे वो संस्कृत के प्राध्यापक हैं उत्कृष्ट यूनिवर्सिटी में। और पिछले 4 साल से वो ट्राइबल बेल्ट जो एकदम नक्सली, घोर नक्सली बेल्ट है, वहां पे रह के और उस लोकल भाषा को, जिसको बोलने वाले 150 लोग हैं, उनके जो भी कस्टम है, जो भी भाषा संस्कृति है, उसको वो लिपिबद्ध कर रहे हैं सर फ्रेंच में, और उसको ट्रांसलेट कर करके वो गूगल पे भी डाल रहे हैं और वो बुक के रूप में उसको लेके आना चाहते हैं। इतना बड़ा काम कर रहे हैं सर ट्रांसलेशन
राइट,
में।
दैट्स यस। हाँ, वो डिमांड तो है, बहुत ज्यादा है। इनफैक्ट हमें पता नहीं चलता,
हमें
आइडेंटिफाई
पता
नहीं
नहीं
है, हम
चलता
सही
जी
जगह कनेक्टेड नहीं होते, इसलिए हम बोलते हैं यार उसका कोई उपाय नहीं है। बट उपाय
जी।
की तो कमी नहीं है, मुझे तो लगता है कि बहुत ज्यादा है। इस पे कुछ प्रीति बोलना चाहती हैं शायद। प्रीति, कैन यू हियर मी?
कैन
हाँ,
यू
चलिए।
हियर मी?
यस,
कैन यू
अब
हियर मी?
बताइए, या बोलिए।
मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ कि मैं जब ये रिसर्च कर रही थी ना अपने थीसिस के लिए,
हाँ,
तो ये भी मैं देख रही थी कि कौन से लैंग्वेज कॉम्बिनेशंस में सबसे अधिक काम होगा और कहाँ मार्केट हमारी कहाँ है। और ये भी देखना चाहती थी कि मैं आगे जो आएगा, जो मार्केट जो इन फ्यूचर में जो आने वाला है, कौन सा मार्केट होगा। आप शायद हैरान होंगे ये सुनकर, फ्रेंच, जर्मन, या आज के जमाने में अभी शुरू हुआ है हिंदी, गुजराती, तमिल, बंगाली, मराठी, पंजाबी, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा। और आगे हमारे भविष्य में क्या लिखा है, जो हमारा मार्केट है, किस दिशा में जा रहा है। आज के जमाने में यू नीड इंटरप्रिटेशन फ्रॉम a foreign language into Hindi या Hindi into foreign language. Soon you will need interpretation from Hindi into Tamil, जो आज भी जरूरी है। People are not aware of this. आम समझ जाते हैं, काम चल जाता है. It won't be enough very soon. You will need Marathi into Assamese, Marathi into Tamil. Training is very very essential. हमारे जो Indian languages हैं आ रहे हैं, they're already on track. In the international community, Hindi has become very important. क्या आप ये जानते हैं, कई साल पहले जापान asked for 200 people, 200 teachers of Hindi. क्यों? Because their commercial partnership with India was starting. यहाँ हमारे उनके साथ काफी काम चल रहा है. Okay, whether it was bullet train, whether it was something else, जो भी है. They needed to set up factories. They have to explain to the local people how to man those trains, how to handle problems that were going to come up. इंडिया में तो किसी को जापानीज आती नहीं, तो उन्होंने क्या कहा कि जी हमें तो हिंदी में बात करनी पड़ेगी इन लोगों से, नीड इंटरप्रेटर्स. आप लोग तो you can't manage, you can't give them give us what we want. आप हमें हिंदी के प्रोफेसर्स भेज दीजिए, हम हिंदी खुद सीख लेंगे, हम आके करते हैं काम. And it's not Japan, only Japan. फ्रांस में भी there are people who are learning हिंदी, और कई लोग ऐसे हैं जो कि हिंदी इतनी बढ़िया बोलते हैं कि the people in Bombay don't understand. क्यों? क्योंकि हिंदी के भी अलग अलग dialects हो गए. You have today what is known as मुंबईया हिंदी. मुंबईया हिंदी is very peculiar. वो कहेंगे जब वो जो बिल्डिंग है ना जो बाजू में, अब बाजू doesn't mean your sleeve. बाजू means next door. So you have to know different types of Hindi coming from different places, different parts of the country. You can land up anywhere and you can make a real faux pas if you say कि वो building जो that building is in the sleeve of the other building. Makes no sense. और ये आपको हिंदी से मराठी में करना होगा या हिंदी से तमिल में करना होगा, कर पाएंगे? हाँ, हम तो सब कुछ कर लेते हैं. It's not enough. This is why I was saying methodology is what we need to teach. And there are very few of us who can teach it. Please believe me. The only those of us who have been in this working as interpreters for a long time who understand कि ये सही तरीका है. Those of us who have been working in the Indian market who understand कि इस market के क्या-क्या expectations है और हमें अब इन expectations को पूरे करने. Please be careful, but please understand that interpretation does require a lot of training. Be ready to undertake that training if you want to get into interpretation. और yes, ये जरूर याद रखिए कि आज के ज़माने से शुरू we need not only Hindi, we need all our languages. And this is going to become more and more important. Why Punjabi? Why Haryanvi? Because a lot of our sports persons come from Haryana. Even in Haryana, before COVID and after COVID, there are going to be a lot of international sports events. लोग यहाँ पहुँच जाते हैं, उनको तो हरियाणवी आती है. And their Hindi is again different from Mumbai Hindi.
That
their
is
Hindi
great.
is different from everywhere.
प्रीति, आप थोड़ा सा इमोशनल हो जाती हैं. It's very good thing. You know,
this is my field, ना, that's why.
Right. तो इनफैक्ट जो आपने बताया, हमारे पास टाइम अब सिर्फ 5 मिनट बचा है. ठीक है. अब मैं ये उससे पहले कि मैं आपकी बात से मैं बहुत सहमत हूँ, और आरती जी ने बहुत अच्छा मुद्दा उठाया, यू नो, हिंदी का और अदर भाषाओं का जो भारत इंटरनेशनलाइजेशन एक तरह से समझ लीजिए. इट्स अ वेरी गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी, यू नो. तो हमारे ये पैंडेमिक और एक अच्छा अपॉर्चुनिटी लेके आया है कि इंटरप्रेटिंग अब जाने के लिए आपको ट्रैवल नहीं करना पड़ता. मुंबई में इंटरप्रिटेशन है, तुम पहले फ्लाइट लेके जाते थे. नाउ अब प्लेटफॉर्म आ गई है, जूम पे भी इंटरप्रेटिंग होता है, बहुत सारे ऑनलाइन इंटरप्रेटिंग है. घर में बैठिए, चाय पीजिए और इंटरप्रिटेशन कीजिए. आई मीन, इससे अच्छा कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. पहले मैं डर के मारे बहुत बार जाता नहीं था बाहर इंटरप्रेटिंग करने के लिए, बिकॉज उसमें 2 दिन आना जाना फालतू का टाइम किल होता है. अब तो घर बैठ के इंटरप्रिटेशन कर सकते हैं. और सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज ये है कि ये कॉमर्शियल इंटरप्रेटिंग के अलावा जो कंजम्पशन है मीडिया का, गूगल हो गया, सोशल मीडिया का, उसमें भी लोकल लैंग्वेजेस का इंपॉर्टेंस बहुत भाग गया है. सिमिलरली व्हाट्सएप पे मैसेजेस जो हैं वो आप इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस में कर रहे हैं. सिमिलरली जो अभी पिछले साल 2 साल पहले की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, मैंने जी न्यूज के लिए एक अच्छा टीम तैयार किया लाइव इंटरप्रिटेशन के लिए फ्रॉम इंग्लिश टू हिंदी, क्योंकि वो इंग्लिश में ऑलरेडी न्यूज वगैरह बना रहे हैं. और ये जो सोशल मीडिया है वो मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया जो है उसका बिजनेस खा गया. तो दे नीड टू रीच आउट टू द पीपल. वो बहुत जगह तक पहुंच नहीं पा रहे हैं. अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं, अंग्रेजी सुनने वाले लोगों की संख्या भारत में 1 से 2% है. अंग्रेजी में आपने न्यूज बना दिया, ठीक है. अब वो सुन नहीं रहे क्योंकि वो भी लोग अब फेसबुक एंड गूगल पे आ गए. तो आपका मार्केट गया, आपका सारा मेहनत बेकार. लेकिन जो आपने मेहनत किया है उसको अगर आप लोकलाइज कर देते हैं, हिंदी में कर देते हैं, मेहनत उतना ही लगा, सिर्फ उसको चेंज करना है. तो ह्यूमन रिसोर्स लगा दीजिए, एक तरफ से इंग्लिश में सुनेगा और दूसरी तरफ से हिंदी में बोलेगा, एंड वो एक्सपेरिमेंट सफल हो गया तो फिर तमिल भी बोलना शुरू कर देगा, फिर तेलुगु में भी बोलने लगेगा। जब डोमेस्टिक मार्केट में आपकी पकड़ मजबूत हो जाती है और आप अच्छा एक एस्टेब्लिश कर लेते हैं अपने आप को, तो फिर आप उतने तक क्यों रहिएगा, आपको तो सक्सेस का मजा मिलने लगा है, तो आप फिर उसको फ्रेंच में कीजिएगा, फिर स्पेनिश में कीजिएगा, उसके बाद फिर आप डिफरेंट डिफरेंट जो पॉपुलर लैंग्वेजेस हैं पूरे वर्ल्ड का उसमें कीजिएगा। तो जैसे जैसे आप इस चीज को बढ़ाते जाइएगा वैसे वैसे आपका दायरा बढ़ता जाएगा, दुनिया बड़ी होती जाएगी आपके लिए, और आपका आउटरीच बढ़ेगा तो पैसा भी मिलेगा आपको। तो ये बिजनेस मॉडल जो है इट इज अ वेरी गुड मॉडल, लेकिन केयरफुली करना पड़ता है इसके लिए, और ह्यूमन रिसोर्स की बहुत कमी है। परेशान हो जाते हैं लोग एक्सपेरिमेंट करने, उनको 3 साल लग गया 10 लोगों को ट्रेन करने, क्योंकि वो उसी अप्रोच से आए थे जिस अप्रोच से आप प्रीति बता रही थी कि अरे मुझे हिंदी आती है, मुझे अंग्रेजी आती है और मेरा नॉलेज अच्छा है, चलो चालू हो जाते हैं। चालू तो हो गए, बट वो जो प्रोफेशनलिज्म है वो आ ही नहीं रहा था उन लोगों। तो जब मैंने उनको ये बताया कि भाई यहाँ पे कमी आ रही है आपकी, बिकॉज उनका थ्योरी सही नहीं है, कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डअप नहीं हो रहा है बंदे में, वो बैरियर बना हुआ है, मेंटल बैरियर, वो तोड़ेगा कैसे का। इट्स लाइक यू नो, हाथी जो बच्चा होता है तब उसको जंजीर से बांध देते हैं छोटे से, और उसी में बंधा रहता है जिंदगी भर। बड़ा हो गया वो हाथी एक झटका मारेगा तो टूट जाएगा, लेकिन वो जंजीर तोड़ता नहीं है वो, क्योंकि मेंटल ब्लॉकेज है। तो मेंटल ब्लॉकेज तोड़ने के लिए भी हमें अपने आप को ट्रेन करना पड़ता है और प्रॉपर गाइडेंस लेनी पड़ती है, गुरु की जरूरत पड़ती है। तो मुझे लगता है कि आज का ये सेशन बहुत अच्छा रहा, और आप लोगों ने समय दिया उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। उमा जी, कुमुदिनी जी, विजय जी, आरती, प्रीति, सबको, स्वाति को, निशा को, इन सबों को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ कि आप लोग आज जुड़े। आशा है हम लोग फिर से जुड़ेंगे कुछ और लोगों के साथ, कुछ नए थॉट्स के साथ। मे बी मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि ये जो इंटरेक्शन है हमारा वो वीकली कर दें, या 10 डेज पे कर दें, 15 दिन पे कर दें, सो दैट एटलीस्ट हम एक दूसरे को समझें, शेयर करें, और मौका मिले ज़्यादा हम अपने इस पैंडेमिक को या बाद आने वाले समय में भी समाज में एक दूसरे के साथ जुड़े रहना ज़्यादा जरूरी होता है देन डूइंग बिजनेस। तो बिजनेस जो है वो तो होता रहेगा, बट दोस्ती भी साथ में बरकरार रहे। आपने समय दिया उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप लोगों को, एंड शुभ रात्रि, बाय बाय।
Thank you so much, Raviji. It
Bye
was a
bye.
wonderful, wonderful session.
Namaskar,
And
sir.
even though
Namaskar.
so many people could not join in, it was really wonderful and very rewarding. Actually, I feel my project has already started. Okay.
Wow, great. Carry on.
No, let us all do a great job together, Raviji. And one more thing I would like to say is, once the project is complete, we feel like, okay, we have completed for this language pair. We would really like Modlingua to publish the books.
Sure, वो करेंगे.
That is already there for you. That is already promised. Really, we need your help on that.
नहीं, वो करेंगे. अभी एक बुक आएगी उसका. Now we will be on with all these, knowledge sharing thing. ये बहुत जरूरी है. ये हमने realize किया इस pandemic में. जो gaps है उसको हमें भरना चाहिए.
And one more interesting thing is, yesterday I was talking to a group of ladies from Sri Lanka, and I was also telling them, they were asking about me, and I was telling them that I'm into language services and all that. One question they put to me is, ma'am, could you please teach us Hindi?
Wow,
it was so interesting, so interesting. It's not people from India, it's people outside India. They want to learn Hindi. I was so happy about it. Wanted to share with you. And there are some universities in China where they learn Tamil and they give themselves Tamil names.
Wow,
there
that's
is
great.
Ishwari, there is Shanti, there is Lakshmi, and all that.
So they are Indianized, This is the strategy of China. They will invade India.
They have this bindi, everything, almost like they celebrate all the festivals.
चलिए चाइना पे भी एक करेंगे, एक दिन एक वेबिनार करेंगे चाइना पे, इंडिया चाइना पे, ठीक है? और इंडिया जापान पे भी आप रहिएगा उसमें.
Yes, please.
चलिए, take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, bye. Good night.
Kumudini ma'am, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
joining.
आरती, खुश रहो बेटा.
दीदी प्रणाम.
खुश रहो.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, रवि सर. आपसे मिलके तो पता नहीं एकदम वो हो जाता है,
Yes.
धड़क उठता है कि कुछ करना ही है।
चलिए बहुत अच्छा है, ग्रेट, थैंक्स कुमुदिनी जी, आपने समय दिया उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। बाय बाय, टेक केयर, बाय बाय बाय, सलाह।